Hello and welcome back to OfferX podcast Beyond the Offer. Today we have someone with us who wears multiple hats and wears them all in style. A powerhouse in HR, a mentor to many, and steering the ship as Senior Director HR at NetEnrich. Please welcome the ever-inspiring and energizing Roshni.
Hi, Alicia. Thank you for inviting me over to the podcast. I hope this is not going to be a very intense grilling session. But a very quick introduction about myself. I'm Roshni, and I've been in the HR space for about 20 years now. I started off my journey with an industry that's now called GCC. So I've actually been part of the HR where we used to have the shared services industry at that point in time in the HR operations space. And then over the years with various experiences ranging from Standard Chartered Scope, HP, Wipro, and then moved in towards the core HR. My last two stints have been previously with Hexaware. So yeah, I'm currently part of NetEnrich, as I mentioned, and this is a company that kind of has built a product that automates your entire IT and cybersecurity operations, basically in the MDR. Very thrilled about what we are doing, and I kind of lead the HR function for them currently. So yes, that's about me. At a personal level, I'm basically from various parts of India, from Chennai, Mumbai, and now in Hyderabad. I think Hyderabad's really growing on me, so I'm kind of stay put. So yeah, so that's about me. Thank you.
So, Roshni, it's wonderful having you. And 20 years, long time, 2 decades. So, what's your biggest takeaway? And what is the thing that you want to share with the viewers, the audience? What's the thing that you are going to take out from this journey?
I think the one thing that I would like to share is certainly that the need to keep reinventing and the need for agility is very highly spoken today. But what got me here was certainly having done that right from day one.
So your core and your heart always remains in HR?
Absolutely.
What makes you HR, what people look up to? Like, we all as employees when we walk into office, the one thing we always watch is how's our HR, what's they going to say, how's our appraisals going to be.
Yeah.
Everything is in the hands of HR. So how do you really think you shape the company's culture? You support so many people's emotions, otherwise their mental health, their day-to-day lives and everything. So how do you do that? How do you balance it all?
I think your question was, what is one thing that keeps me going and really connected to HR, right? So I think it's a whole circle that, you're able to really express care at whatever you do for the people, right? Now, this is also for you to bridge the care for the company, bridge the care for your employees, and ensure that, strike the right alignment for both to feel, the best of it. So that's something that keeps me going for sure.
Okay, I know the answer is going to be yes, but I'll still ask the question. Are you a people person?
100%. That's what got me to HR.
So, how many years has been with NetEnrich?
So with NetEnrich particularly, it's been about 5 years now. And I joined them and in 2020 and we kind of hit COVID. So it was a very unique experience for me to connect to people virtually and not, be able to meet them in person. So, I probably knew all the names who are associated with us. I knew them from like a data point standpoint and all. But when we resumed working probably, from office full time, and we would have people coming in bits and all of that. So really to keep the name and the person in person, that's the following was
Okay. So it was a complete different setup again, starting from virtual to meeting them in person.
Absolutely.
You had to set up 2 different dynamics.
Yeah,
okay. So you were just telling me that how when you joined NetEnrich, you started a lot of it virtually. Like, of course, when we hear the year 2020, none of them is face-to-face. It's all virtual.
Yeah.
So do believe that post 2020, a lot has changed in the way people work, people want to work, their expectations. So how has the experience been? Because it was the first time, of course, you're just joining a company and the major revolution has happened. How did you handle that? Like the virtual setup, how did you handle that?
That was a lot of learning for everybody collectively, right? One, it was very new to me because in HR, there was never a concept of work from home, right? While we've certainly seen certain roles, certain companies having the work from home, having flexibility, but that's been more very operational side. But anything in People Connect, even the HRs would never even expect ki, we should work from home. They're like, karenge kya, because they're so in the front of, the face of people, connecting with them, meeting with them to enable the collaboration and all of that. So it was very new that, okay, so where do we start? What do we do? Now, transactionally, TK offers are going on, appointment letters are going out, interviews are still happening and all of that. But for us also, it was like, are we missing out, right? Most of us feel more confident meeting the person in a candidate in person to be able to assess, what is their attitude like, what's their body language saying, read between the lines. That kind of gives more cues than actually what someone is saying. So, we kind of really getting tougher with that aspect to assess in the interviews. But other than that, of course, so we had to relearn and correct and adjust to the new environment around it.
Okay. So while you were talking about, you were adjusting and the entire world was adjusting, and you made a point where you get a vibe from a candidate when you meet them.
That's right.
And it's true. You always have a better connection when we meet face to face. So now the word ghosting has been quite popularized. It's on a dating app for the HRs or around the way also, even sometimes for candidates. So this has been quite popular. It's happening. People are moonlighting. Let's say people are ghosting. People are like saying yes, getting the offer letter and then not joining. And it's a problem that exists. Do you think it has become more of a problem after COVID? Or was it existing before COVID as well? Or do you think it is a generational problem right now where the Gen Z and all or other people who are coming new to the market, they are doing it more?
There are multiple parts to that, right? One, did ghosting exist before COVID? 100% yes, right? But in that times, ghosting was more about a choice that they want to make for better designation, better salary or something like that, right? But with post the COVID sorts of it also increased because of, the location.
Okay.
Right? Now, obviously, during COVID, everybody opened up to hiring talent from anywhere, right?
Yeah.
And that kind of the tables turned around back very quickly. Probably by 2021, 2022, everybody started focusing on, at least you can be working remote now, but you'll have to resume working later.
Right.
So while that transition was happening, right, it was very easy for the candidates to really say yes to everything at that point in time. And then, change their views if they got something that would accommodate their location, right? Like, say, someone sitting in Haryana would say, yeah, I will come and relocate to, Hyderabad or Chennai or Bangalore or vice versa, right? Somebody sitting in Trichy will say, okay, to offer in Noida. But then, when they really have to go, that doesn't happen, sorts of it. So that, and as soon as that started even more fading in terms of, no, we would want to hire people only for in office, people would take offers just to negotiate and go back and find another offer that would suit them for their location standpoint. So this geography dynamic is another angle that has contributed to the ghosting for sure.
And what do you think about the generational thing? Is it happening? Like, you think people in the earlier generation were more serious, they had more ethics or values, and now people just feel like, okay, even if we have promised, we can always say no.
Yeah. So I think a lot has been spoken about Gen Zs, right? Some misunderstood sorts of it. Yes, I think if Gen Zs don't bring the newness to what is shocking the entire rest of the generation, what's the fun of it, right? That's one side to it. But the other side, right? I feel sad for the Gen Z who started working during COVID, right? Now, what is it? It's not really their fault, right?
Yeah.
imagine transformations in people and people's personalities happen organically by the experience you go through, right? And some things that have shaped us has been, those experiences that we have physically walked into from one to another, right? As simple as, if why Gen Zs, anything before 2020, anybody who joined before 2020, if they were starting a first day at office, what would it look like, right?
Yeah.
They would be nervous as wreck. They would stress over what they're going to wear, what they're going to carry, what kind of documents they need to be ready, the logistics of how they're going to commute, who's going to drop them, and probably their family and extended friends probably wishing them good luck, for
Right.
ghee shakar, dahi shakar or whatever, that they do. Now, all of that went bazook.
Yes.
Right? They didn't really get up, get ready, walk into an office space, get intimidated by a new set of people surrounding them, the environment and all of that. All that happened for them was they still sitting in their pajamas at home, feeling very cool about it, right? And they just get a laptop that they opened, right? And all of us connected with them virtually, but they're still in the same skin. They didn't shed that away, right? So that transformation probably something that they've missed out, right? And that is something that has probably they've missed out on that shaping of themselves. But do they have values? Of course they have values, right? Do they need to be sculpted? Yes, they certainly, those values need to be sculpted. Do they need to have experiences that they have to walk into? Yes, only then they will, grow as well. So as all of us grown over the years, right? So has that contributed to the ghosting a little bit? Yes, certainly yes, right? Because they have walked into a corporate times where they have too many factors for negotiating, right? And at a point in time when the entire industry went really speed up on hiring as many freshers, and then, there's a roller coaster in the demand chain, of course, from that point of view. So, of course, they joined at a time when there were many factors playing pro them, and also they joined, and there was a time where there was a real spike in the demand for freshers. So, yeah, there were things that they started off where was in their favor. There will be other experiences that will sculpt the Gen Zs.
Yeah.
But yes, of course, that's inevitable.
I found your answer really, really beautiful. Like, I have been in talks with a lot of people. I have done podcasts, and this topic comes up even, in general discussions where we're meeting and otherwise. And your perspective to this entire concept was something that obviously everybody has in mind, but you put it so beautifully, and thank you for that.
Right.
So, Roshni, have you heard about OfferX platform?
Yes, certainly.
Okay, I'll still go ahead and just give you a quick glimpse. So, as the name suggests, we prevent ghosting. That's the first main thing that we always target on. Yeah, we have a platform which gives a very, strong hold from a candidate and HR standpoint or a TA standpoint that we give a seamless experience from onboarding to offboarding. There are multiple features where you can track candidates' journey while they are offer shopping, in fact, if they have multiple roles aligned, if they are accepting company A's offer and companies B offer, then the HR gets to know if they are on a OfferX platforms. And all of these features collectively prevents ghosting. So yeah, we as a company, we feel very strongly about that thing that if a company is investing, a HR is investing time, a TA has spent so much time, then we hire the right candidate without wasting the business or the company's time. And it's time value of money basically, and that is what the platform does. So now, since we have spoken a lot about ghosting, I would like to know one of your personal experience where a candidate ghosted you very last moment, like, Monday morning in office, you were waiting for the candidate and everything was going well. So I have one first question for you is, what did you think you missed and that's why the candidate didn't join, or you think you did everything and still they didn't join, and what changed after that?
I think, well, there have been both scenarios, right? Where we feel we've done everything and people have ghosted, and where we've, probably we feel we could have done an inch more about than what we've done, and, probably things could have been different. But I think one thing that we've very strongly believe and we follow in is we understand that I think when you make an offer, right? And when someone accepts that and there's offer shopping, that's very obvious. I think we're very invested in building the connect with the candidate, right? And if that is the case, right, if you build the right connect with the candidate, even if they get probably a few lakhs extra, but they still really believe in, what we are doing and feel connected with probably their peer, their reporting leader, they still want to, choose to be with us. And I think that makes the whole difference, right? Because it's a matter of choice to me. So to build that connect before joining is certainly been a focus shift that has happened.
Okay. So share us an interesting story, like something that happened with you in office, like one interesting story where the viewers would want to hear, okay, this candidate did not join, and what was the story behind it, why they didn't join, what kind of excuse they came up with, and what did you do, what backup plans you had, or what did you do after that?
Yeah. I think probably about one candidate who didn't join us, right? Certainly made a choice for various factors as well. But, we feel that we could have explained their role, their vision a little more in detail for them to be excited about. But, there's never a right answer to the balance, right? Sometimes people feel overwhelmed and, when given too much information, or sometimes they really connect stronger.
Right.
But I think, what has worked in our favor also is certainly candidates who have chosen to be with us, right? They feel that, they've got certain other offers also, but what they know about our culture and, they hear from other people, not just from us. So the word, the culture feedback
Right.
they get, that's something that makes a real strong connect and a choice for them to work with us.
Okay. So you have any bad experience story?
No experience is bad experience, right?
Learning,
It's my
I would
choice.
say,
Yes, it adds stress because, if there's a candidate whom you really strongly believe in, right? It's unfortunate that they don't believe back, but we also feel that it's time saved, right? Because if they don't believe in connecting with us and don't believe in the vision that we're going after and, they're not thrilled about it, then, a choice made sooner than later. But of course, it adds stress that we have to rush, you have to find the other right candidate, and there's a whole lot of hiring manager pressure, all that going on. But yeah, part and parcel of it.
I think that's a very interesting take on it, where you said if they were supposed to ghost or they joined somehow, they will do something or the other later. So maybe you saved some time there. That's a good point.
Mutually, themselves, ourselves.
So what do you think? Do you have any tips? Like you've been in the business for 20 years now. What's your biggest instinct and what are the quick checks in your head? Like, okay, when I'm hiring a candidate, it's not just a resume that I'm looking into. There would be some instinct you would be having, a human instinct or a HR instinct. What are those?
Yeah. I think, of course, it's for you to also assess that if their personality is right, if they're someone who is very ambitious, if they're really thrilled about the role, then you're feeding in the right information that, hey, these are things that you can look forward in the role, right? But if you see that they are, a little passive in nature, they're just, more inclined towards, ensuring that their career has just continuously going on versus growth. So the growth mindset is really, really the big differentiator.
Okay. So Roshni, your ideas and thoughts and your views, especially about people and work, is so different. And we are really having so much fun conversing with you, having you over here on podcast. But we'll shift the mood a little bit to the game side and we'll have some more fun with you. Before we begin that, let's have a warm-up game with you and see how you're scoring there. Maybe then I'll start the real ones. So, what's on your mind, okay? When I say certain things, you have to just give me one word. Since it's a game, we only expect whatever comes to your mind first, okay? Are you ready for this one?
Sure.
Okay. One thing that instantly annoys you during onboarding.
Casual attitude.
Okay. One word for hybrid work.
Win-win.
Okay. Most overused HR email subject line.
From which I'm frame the question a little better.
Okay, that frame the question a little bit.
Yeah, I may ask for your question.
Okay, most overused HR email subject line.
Announcement.
Do you like using phrases like, let's revisit this later?
100%.
You are a true HR. Your go-to icebreaker at virtual team meetings.
I think it's people love talking about themselves. So, just give them that platform.
Okay, you fared really well.
Yeah.
We can move on to the next one. All right, Rashni. So we move to the next game. Okay, it's called Policy Mystery. It's pretty easy. So I'll mention unusual office policies. Okay, some might be right, some might be wrong, some might be funny. All you have to do is pick and tell me that do you think this policy actually exists or it doesn't? Okay.
Okay.
Some policies might be true as well.
Okay.
Okay, let's start. Okay, the first one. Bring your pet to interview day.
True. I know of a company that.
Okay. Okay. Silent lunch Thursdays.
No. Impossible.
Okay, maybe so people and HRs encourage that mindfulness, just don't talk. Do you think it exists?
No.
Okay. No mugs left in the sink.
No mug.
Mugs, coffee mugs left in the sink.
True.
Okay. Reverse mentoring Fridays.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They exist.
Yes. Personal Spotify playlist sharing.
Really? But sounds fun.
Yeah. Would you share yours?
Maybe. I don't know.
Okay. I'm having so much fun playing these games with you. You are so brutally honest about everything. So let's move on to the next game now. So there are few HR catchphrases. Even employees have noticed HRs using they are used in memes. They're used broadly by the employees, and every time an employee may have rolled their eyes when they have heard you using these words, and are very common catchphrases.
Okay.
So just tell me, your answer would be two things: overused, never used. Okay. So when I tell you the word, either you tell me overused or never used. Okay. So let's start.
Okay.
Touch base.
Overused.
Culture fit.
Overused.
Open door policy.
100% overused.
Best practices.
Overused.
I can tell it's overused. Work-life balance.
Overused.
Okay, you're getting caught in this game.
Yeah.
Team player.
Overused.
Feedback.
Overused. Guilty. Guilty.
Talent pipeline.
Overused.
Upskilling.
Overused.
Going the extra mile.
Overused.
Overused. Every HR term possible. Oh my God.
You've got to fit in one word now that
I have
used.
heard HRs, at least in some terms, they just roll their eyes and say never used, but you have overused all of them. That's what comes with a 20 years of experience. So yes, I can't deny it either. Okay, the last one. Let's go to the last game of today, and that's a rapid fire round. You have played rapid fires earlier?
Yeah.
Okay, so this will be easy. So I'll ask you a few questions without blinking. Like with one blink, you have to say the first thing that comes to your mind. Okay? Get started?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
a pressure. But yeah.
What's your ultimate HR cringe moment?
Rangoli.
Rangoli. Oh my God, HR is saying HR. Rangoli is cringe.
Because people will tell you, we want Rangoli competition. I said, there you guys put it on the HR the next time.
If hybrid HR were a snack, what would it be?
If hybrid HR.
Were a snack.
Okay.
What would it be?
That's weird. Korean bun.
Okay. Yeah, it opens in layers.
Yeah.
The HR email subject line you never want to see again.
That I would never want to see again. Of course, the COVID awareness
Okay,
was up.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Let's take this offline. Classic move or major eye roll?
Classic.
What's your secret weapon for waking up a sleepy Zoom room?
Sleepy Zoom room.
Yeah.
I've never have been in that spot. Sorry, I don't
What do you
know.
do? Like if you figure out that all the employees are sleeping, switched off camera, switched off mics.
Yeah, I think that's a very common thing, regardless of sleepiness of it, because most of the HRs, I'm always saying, guys, please speak up, mute, voice on, mute off, and the
Do
video
you have
on.
any secret weapon that whosoever is active, I'll give appraisal?
Where that's not happening.
Of course. I just thought maybe,
Yeah, I don't have an answer to that. Skip that question.
Thank you. It was so fun playing with you.
Okay.
It was so much fun playing those games with you, and it was a privilege having you over the podcast. Before we bid a goodbye, I still have more 2 questions if you have time.
Sure, absolutely.
So, for our viewers, what's the biggest advice that comes with your experience, comes with the kind of work you do, and that you would want to share with the HRs and TAs of other companies?
I think where we're going to value add as HRs, right? It's certainly that you align yourself to the purpose of your role, the purpose of your organization, and have your presence felt, right? Be able to establish the right bridge between and enable the alignment between people and the business. I think that's our biggest contribution to the table.
Right. I also feel the same. And just one more. What do you think the future of HR or future of work is definitely going to have, or it's going to change in the next 5 years? AI being one of the most overused term always. But what personally do you think? What's it going to look like in the next 5 years for HRs and for all of us maybe?
Yeah. So I think, like rightly said, AI is really changing the game right now. A lot of people are really questioning that, would certain roles be wiped off? Would HR be wiped off, right? Now, HR is a function where it's going to enable the alignment between business and people. That's always been the case, right? And more so now with more and more gig economy coming up, the concept of remote working coming up, it's really more important that HR enables and embraces the AI 100%. There's no 2 ways to it, because it's going to simplify and make our work more effective. I've already incorporated AI in some of our, processes internally, and that's only helped us and enabled us for sure. It just gives us more room to show our value beyond what systems can do. So the sooner you embrace the AI into your processes, and this is really the transition phase, right? So it's very important that we build our awareness in the AI, understand no organization is going to accept an HR to really be a hands-on tech. But what is important is for HR to understand the capability of tech, understand the scope of the tech, and how that can be integrated into your function.
Right.
So the sooner we build our awareness and speak the tech language at least, right? So the sooner you're part of a particular, zone that everybody is in right now, and you're able to contribute once you're done with that, right? You still show your presence. You show how you continue to contribute to the function beyond these tech systems.
So with that, change is the only constant, and that's what has kept happening in the world and will still keep happening. We'll learn, we'll grow, and that's the way for life, for work, for everything.
Well said.
Thank you, Roshni. Thank you for finding time and
Pleasure.
being here. It was wonderful.
Likewise.
Thank you, viewers. And that's a wrap with such an amazing podcast guest, Roshni. With her views and with her feedbacks, if that didn't help you upgrading your HR game, then what will? Keep tuning in, keep listening to OfferX podcast. Till then, hire smart, be ghosting free, and be kind. Thank you.